Take two. I've filmed this already once before, but my dryer was going and you could hear it squeaking, so I'll spare you the ear hurting sound and I'll refilm it. Side note, I just got gifted my grandma's, now she's crying. We're not leaving yet. I just got gifted my grandma's wedding ring for my wedding, and I just got it resized and cleaned. And then I stacked it with the ring that Victor gave me for my engagement, right? Okay. But it's so pretty. But it kind of ties into what I wanted to talk about today, as far as like, hold on, she's gonna be crying. I let her out, so she's not held hostage. But it kind of ties into what I was wanting to talk about today. I was remembering the movie Perks of Being a Wallflower, and the main character, I think his name is Sam, correct me if I'm not. Sam might be Emma Watson, but I think it's like Logan is his real name. But I think it's Sam. Please correct me, like I said, if I'm wrong. But he says, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if it's him that says it. I'm having like second thoughts. So if I'm wrong in how I remember it, please excuse me. But there's a line in the movie that says, "We accept the love that we think we deserve." Wrote it down here so I won't forget. But and I think that is so true, because in our heads we have like this idea of love that we think that is love, you know, and it's kind of what we accept it as. Because, for instance, like I said, I'm going to be talking about things I've been through and I've gone through, and kind of just share them, like air out my dirty laundry, if you will, like they say. But maybe it'll help any of you going through certain scenarios, or make you feel less alone, because certain things that I share here, I basically felt alone that I was going through, and I know I'm not, so I hope that makes sense. But I won't even take it back too far, but like in my late teens, not late 20s, I was in certain relationships. I've had a lot of relationships, to be honest, and they weren't always the best. And I can pinpoint why I thought that, because in my late teens, early 20s, I wasn't as confident in myself as I am now. I listened to other people's opinions about me, and I kind of just painted my own picture of like, well, people see me as this girl that can't keep a boyfriend, that just goes through men all the time and has really high standards and is really picky and materialistic and all these horrible things that I'd hear about myself, and like, you have to be less this, more this. And I just kind of like, okay, well, erased what I thought I wanted and formed it into something that I thought that I needed, but it wasn't true. So I would think, sorry, my other dog's whining outside. I would think like, okay, well, I'm never going to find anyone better than this man here, which is so not true. I mean, it was like, hold on, 1 second. Everyone's excited here because at 6 o'clock we take them out for a walk. So please excuse, that rhymed, but please excuse the loud noises. I'm trying to film this before I leave. But basically, I hope I follow the train of thought that I was on. But I would assume that, okay, what was I saying? Basically, okay, I would think like no one would be better than what I had at the current time. The men, I won't even call them men, because really they were boys. The boys that I was with when I was younger, it was just like they would cheat on me, not treat me right. And unfortunately, I was like in a headspace was thinking like, well, that's all there is out there, and that's all I'm good for. Because my confidence in myself was so not, it was false confidence, really. It wasn't like it wasn't really true. I didn't believe that who I was deep inside was good enough to be loved. But as the older I got, and funnily enough, the more alone I became, the less friends I had, the more I realized I was like actually a good person, and who I was deep down inside was actually someone worth loving, you know? I didn't have to change anything really about me, because once I accepted who I was as a girl, woman, whatever you want to call it, I attracted the perfect, in my eyes, the perfect partner, you know? And I think you just have to get to that point and realize all your qualities that maybe others might think are silly or bad, but you truly do love about yourself. They're, you know, someone's gonna like it. You know, I thought no one would like the fact that I hate the 4th of July and I hate fireworks. And my dog freaks out with fireworks. I thought that was gonna be so cringy and like embarrassing, and no one would find it, like, no one would help me. Like, I'd be embarrassed of my partner, or like, you know, I thought that was just gonna be cringy. But, you know, my fiance now is like very accommodating and does help quite a bit and doesn't make me feel stupid or silly for having a really big fear of fireworks. But back to what I was saying, I guess the bottom line of we accept the love we think we deserve, and going through situations like that where I feel so low vibey and not my best self, you will, like, it does, how do I say? You will always find like your perfect match in this world. It'll always like pan out, if that makes sense. On the flip side, when I was going through times like that, and if you're seeing it from an outside perspective, like your best friend is watching you go through this, for instance, for me it was my mom, and she never made me feel like silly for not listening to her advice, or for going back to getting myself into same situations of like being with types of men that were like this. She was very understanding and didn't judge really. And I did lose quite a bit of friends when I was like trying to find myself, but in the end I do think maybe they weren't truly friends, and they had their own journeys they needed to go on, and I totally understand that now. But at the time you do tend to feel lonely, so that's totally, you know, understandable. But I guess what I want to say is just hold on to the fact that you don't have to, if you love the qualities about yourself, you don't have to change them for anybody, because the more you accept them, of those qualities being of who you are, you'll find your perfect pair that accepts it for no matter what. And patience is like the biggest thing I could say. But even then, like, I wouldn't even say like a time frame, because in my lowest hour, and I felt the most vulnerable, is when I found, I guess, like my shining star, if you will. So I wouldn't say like you must wait 5 years after your really bad relationship to find someone perfect. There is no really time frame. It's just how you feel on the inside. But if you have any other like things you want me to touch on or talk about, I would love to write them down, leave them in the comments. I think talking like this does help me really use my brain and connect with my heart. Penny's clawing at my door, in a certain type of way, and it heals a lot of my inner self, and I'm sure it does connect with quite a bit of you. So I will see you guys next time in my next video, but till then, bye bye.